Yo, what's going on YouTube, and welcome to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and we are taking a look at what is going on with the Ottawa Senators. Eugene Melnyk comes out earlier this week and mentions that there is a timeline for the Ottawa Senators over the next 3 years and their possibility of winning a Stanley Cup championship. We'll be taking a look at that in today's video. If you like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey, want to see the latest news around the NHL, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and to subscribe down below. Let's take a look at the Ottawa Senators. Alright guys, so before we get too far into this video, I want to give a quick plug to our Instagram and Twitter handles at goal_hockey. Links will be in the description down below. And make sure to check out our Patreon for a weekly podcast every Thursday. We talk about the latest news around the league. Specifically this week, we're going to be taking a look a lot at what is going on with these reverse retro jerseys. I'll be getting into detail about those, as well as reading your guys' comments at the end of the podcast. I spend about a half hour answering YouTube comment questions, and I take a look at that throughout the podcast. So make sure to check that out. And maybe if you leave a comment here, maybe next week your comment will be on next week's podcast. So with that out of the way, guys, let's take a look at the Ottawa Senators, as Eugene Melnyk has started to set out a window for Pierre Dorion and the Senators organization for when they can start to compete for a Stanley Cup. And we see some of the additions that they've had this offseason. You traded for Matt Murray from the Pittsburgh Penguins to become your starting goaltender. You add a guy like Erik Goodbranson and Josh Brown to your defense. And then up front, you add guys like Austin Watson, Alex Galchenyuk, and Evgeny Dadonov. So the Ottawa Senators have been making some pretty big changes. And not to mention, some of the guys, the young guys that we're going to start to see more minutes from. Guys like Josh Norris, Colin White, and Logan Brown down the middle, as well as on the defensive side of things. Erik Brannstrom will get a much bigger role for the Senators this year in the NHL. So then it brings up the question, where do the Ottawa Senators sit in terms of the overall standings? Are they a team that can legitimately make the playoffs next year? I think it's a long shot. I think because of how badly they've torn this team down over the past couple of years, it's going to hurt. And I think this season is another year where I think the biggest issue is it's not their window in terms of the rest of the division. Now, there's an opportunity that they sneak in, but you look at the top teams in the Atlantic. I think Toronto is one of those teams that could potentially miss. But again, obviously, that seems to be a team that everybody's expecting. It's the big three. You have Boston, Tampa, and Toronto. Those are the three teams. And then you have the fringe teams, Florida, Buffalo, and maybe Montreal, right? And then you've got Ottawa and Detroit, who are kind of at the bottom tier. So you really have three different tiers in that division. And Ottawa is not in the first, or hell, they're not really even in the second tier at this point. So, I think Ottawa has made that transition to the second tier. I think we'll see that by the end of this season. But at this point, going into the season, I don't know how confident I am with what the Ottawa Senators have. And like I said, you have to see the emergence of a guy like Brady Tkachuk, who is on the final year of his entry-level contract. I would expect big things out of him this year. And we're going to see the emergence of that defense. Shabbat. We're going to, like I said, a guy like Brannstrom. We're going to need to see those guys step up. And Matt Murray has to be a good goaltender for the Senators. I mean, that is critical. We saw Anders Nilsson is a reliable backup at the very least. And I think he's done a good job with the Islanders and the Vancouver Canucks in his earlier stints. But there's an opportunity for him in Ottawa to really be a good, a rebuilding backup. And I think this is the right side of the direction for the Senators. I don't think this year they'll be a playoff team. And next year, I think they could be in that conversation. In 3 years from now, we will indeed be talking about the Senators as a contender. And if they are not in that conversation yet, heads will have to roll there in Ottawa. So guys, let me know in the comment section down below, what do you think of Eugene Melnyk's 3-year plan here for the Ottawa Senators? That they could be a Stanley Cup contender in the next 3 seasons. Do you agree with that? Do you think they'll be better this year, next year, 3 years, like he said? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey, Want to see the latest news around the NHL? Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and a subscribe down below. Thank you so much for watching, and let's go Sens.